Hello everyone. I am Alex. Welcome to IELTS sharing community. Today, I'm gonna tell you, things a IELTS candidate must know about IELTS speaking exam. Before we start, don't forget to like, share and subscribe this channel to follow us. The speaking component assesses the test taker's use of spoken English, and takes between 11 and 14 minutes to complete. Every test is digitally recorded and consists of 3 parts. Part 1. Test takers answer general questions about themselves and a range of familiar topics. Example topics are work, study, where you live, food, holidays, friends, going out, festivals, sports, schools and public transport. This part lasts between 4 and 5 minutes. For example, are you a student or do you work now? 1. Why did you choose this course/job? 2. Talk about your daily routine. 3. Is there anything about your course/job you would like? Part 2. The examiner gives the candidate a topic on a card and the candidate needs to speak about it for about 2 minutes. They have 1 minute to prepare before speaking for up to 2 minutes. The examiner may ask 1 or 2 questions on the same topic to finish this part of the test. For example, describe an important event in your life. You should say, when it happened, who you were with, what happened, and explain why you feel it was important. Part 3. Test takers are asked further questions which are connected to the topic in Part 2. These questions give the candidate an opportunity to discuss more abstract issues and ideas. This part lasts between 4 and 5 minutes. The format of the speaking test is common across both the academic and general training modules. It is structured in such a way that does not allow test takers to rehearse set responses beforehand. Time, 4 to 5 minutes. We've been talking about an important event in your life, and I'd now like to ask you some questions related to this. 1. What days are important in your country? 2. Why it is important to have national celebrations? 3. How is the way your national celebrations are celebrated now different from the way they were celebrated in the past? 4. Do you think any new national celebrations will come into being in the future? Here are some of the challenges candidates face, and ways to help them prepare. Many candidates do not prepare in the same extensive way as a learner taking an FCE exam at the end of a course, for example. This means that amongst other problems they do not know how long their answers need to be. It is important to focus on the different answers needed in order to not only give a good performance but also reduce strain on both the candidate and the examiner. Candidates are evaluated on their entire performance and need to get started immediately in Part 1. It is good to speak only English just before the test, and candidates can organize this amongst themselves, or with a teacher. The topics in Part 1 of the test are limited and very familiar, so candidates can do focused practice of these areas. The long turn in Part 2 is always very challenging. Candidates often produce answers that are short, repetitive, off-topic, although this may not be a problem, or lacking structure. The IELTS test is designed to push a candidate to the limits of their language, and so learners will at some point struggle. To achieve high band score, you should start at IELTS speaking assessment criteria. 1. Fluency and coherence. Fluency refers to your ability to speak smoothly and at an appropriate speed, without any unnatural pauses. This is an area that is often misunderstood by students to mean that you just talk as fast as you possibly can, or talking without pausing. If you listen to how native speakers talk, they don't normally talk very fast and there are plenty of pause. This is totally acceptable, you just don't want to pause more than normal. Coherence literally means being logical and consistent. For the IELTS speaking criteria, this refers to how you expand and explain your answers with explanations and examples. Answer the question being asked and how you connect sentences together using discourse markers and tenses. Simply, it means that when the examiner asks you a question, they clearly understand your answer and you have answered the question fully. Two. Lexical resource. Lexical resource basically means vocabulary. To do well in this area, you need to have a wide-ranging vocabulary and use that vocabulary accurately. Three. Grammatical range and accuracy. This part of the IELTS speaking criteria refers to your ability to avoid making grammar mistakes. You should also have a wide enough range of grammar in complex sentences. For example, the examiner might ask you to talk about the past and future, and you will therefore need to be able to use past tenses and future structures. Moreover, you also need to be aware of different type of functional language, such as how to give your opinion, explain something, talk hypothetically, and compare and contrast idea. Four. Pronunciation. You don't have to worry about having an American or British accent. The main consideration here is that your speech is clear and you are easy to understand. Thank you for your watching. Don't forget to subscribe our channel for more lessons.